Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Rita's Book Club. On this episode, I chose a book that I've recently read and that I had heard about a lot. It's called The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. A few mutuals on Tumblr and even on Instagram kept mentioning this book and on their stories or posts, and after reading the synopsis, I was just too curious to read it and know everything about this iconic woman. This book tells us the story of Evelyn Hugo, a reclusive Hollywood movie icon that is ready to tell the whole world the truth about her glamorous and scandalous life. To tell her own story, she chooses an unknown magazine reporter, Monique Grant, to write her biography. Monique herself is very surprised by Evelyn's request, but decides to do it anyway. Her personal life is a bit of a mess, and her professional one is going nowhere. So she is ready, really determined to use this opportunity to jumpstart her career. At Evelyn's apartment, Monique listens in fascination as the actress tells her a story from making her way to LA in the 50s to her decision to leave the show business in the 80s. And of course, the seven husbands along the way. Evelyn's story is a tale of ruthless ambition, unexpected friendship, and the forbidden love. Even Monique starts feeling a connection to the star, but as Evelyn's story nears its conclusion, it becomes pretty clear that her life intersects with Monique's own tragic life. I was completely obsessed with this book the minute I started reading it. Like Monique herself, I was super curious to know why Evelyn chose her, what was the mystery of it all, and I honestly couldn't stop reading it until I found out all Evelyn's secrets. The story was beautifully told by the author, mixing the present, as in we see Monique and Evelyn interacting and their personal lives, but we also see a glimpse into the past when we get sucked into all those years ago to learn Evelyn's story. I also found it really interesting how the book was divided by each husband, because then we really understand how Evelyn's journey was directed to her husbands, how each represented a specific time in her life. And then the magic and drama of old Hollywood. It was amazing to be back at those times, but also to get a glimpse into the real ins and outs of it all. How you had to be ruthless to fight for what you want, and even doing things that you didn't want to get your chance. How most of the time talent wasn't enough. And I also think it's a good analogy to how, even after all these years, Hollywood is still basically the same in its essence. The prejudice is still there. People still have to transform themselves to be seen or heard. It's sad, but a reality well portrayed. I know we weren't supposed to sympathize with Evelyn in a lot of moments, especially in the end, but here was a strong, independent woman who knew what she wanted. And she did everything to get there, even doing things that weren't good, even sacrificing others, but mainly sacrificing herself to protect the ones that she loved the most, her best friend, her love, and her daughter. I was fascinated by her, and I think that since we were reading it through Monique's own fascination, it was truly well written. I don't want to spoil anyone and reveal too much of the story because I think it will lose its magic. But the LGBTQ plus relationships were really important into this book. Again, we see the prejudice of Hollywood and how the characters dealt with their own feelings and insecurities, how they had to hide themselves in plain sight, literally. But I also found it really interesting to get a glimpse into the Stonewall riots and even the AIDS epidemic. It was heartbreaking but beautifully told. And also, finally, my dear Monique. I really loved her character and how she grew so much in just a few weeks of the timeline of the book. She absorbed Evelyn's life lessons and was able to set her career on an incredible path, but most importantly, she was finally able to close a few chapters in her personal life. She was super relatable, and I confess that I totally understand her feelings in the last few chapters. All in all, to me, this book just showed us two incredible independent women that had to learn to fight for what they wanted. They were different, but both learned from each other in those weeks that they spent together. It's just one of those books that I couldn't stop reading and thinking about. I even dreamt about it. I had dreams about old Hollywood and Evelyn. So it was really, really interesting. As always, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at Rita's Book Club for more content. And just as always, a quick thank you. Thank you for watching and see you next week. Happy readings.